Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's almost my birthday. My birthday is on Thursday. It's currently Monday, which is actually the long weekend in Ontario. So it's a really sunny day. Lots of people are out enjoying the beach and cottaging. Journey is working on our condo today and I'm at home doing some errands. But I wanted to make a video on the week of my 25th birthday, just about 25 things I've learned in my lifetime. I've seen these type of videos before and they're always really fun to see what people have to say of things they've learned in their life, and I wanted to make one too. So I'm going to put this out on my actual birthday, which is August 5th on Thursday. But yeah, I just wrote down, I sat outside and I wrote down a few or 25 different things that I think would be kind of fun to talk about, and I'll just jump right in. So the first thing is I'm more resilient than I give myself credit for. I think that sometimes we can doubt ourselves and just kind of like circle around in our head when things get challenging, and we don't give ourselves enough credit to ourselves when we're going through something difficult. And I found that myself the past couple years, when things happen in my life that are challenging, I always get through them with a level head and come out the other side a better, stronger person for it. So going through that a few times has taught me that I need to give myself more credit when I'm going through something more challenging in my life, that I am resilient and I can get through it. The next thing I put on my list is that relationships take effort. And when I say relationships, I mean a romantic relationship for me, my marriage with Journey, a friendship, your relationship with your family, and also your relationship with yourself. Just in general, relationships take a lot of effort, and especially when it's with someone else, like a friend or a spouse or a family member. In order to have a healthy relationship, you have to really put in time and effort, and that's why I personally have like a small, really close group of friends and important people in my life, because it's the people that actually get part of that effort and time that I put in. So yeah, it's just something good to keep in mind that any relationship is going to take a lot of work and effort, and that's definitely something I've learned throughout my life, and especially in my marriage with Journey. All marriages have their work cut out for them, but yeah, putting in the effort really pays off in the long run. The next one is kind of a fun one, and it's that I love being blonde. I've dyed my hair so many different colors in my life. I was really laughing at this photo that popped up on my memories, and it was from about 6 years ago, this summer, 6 years ago, and my hair was literally jet black. I do really like being blonde, and that was kind of a fun one to throw out there. The next thing I put on my list is that saying no is power. Using your voice to verbalize your boundaries is something so important to do in your life, whether that's at work, with family, with friends, or in any situation. Putting up those boundaries and saying no when something doesn't feel right or is not something that you want to do or align with is really powerful. And it can be really hard to learn. Like, I personally found it so hard to learn to say no. I was always that person who is a people pleaser, and I wanted to just accommodate everyone and not let anyone down, and just kind of like, show up as the person who did everything and never said no. But then that put myself in a compromising situation most of the time, where I would be burnt out, stressed, and it just took a long time to learn how to say no, and it's something I'm really glad that I'm taking into my mid-20s onward. Number 5 on the list is advocate for yourself in healthcare. Advocating for yourself is really important, because sometimes in those situations you feel like you don't have a choice or a voice and people are deciding things for you. So yeah, just advocating for yourself in general, and also just educating yourself about health and your personal health is really the key to feeling empowered as well. Next one on the list is I love waking up early. Every time I wake up early, I felt I didn't always do this throughout high school. I didn't always enjoy waking up early, but the past couple years I've made it a big priority to do, mostly so that I can have time to really have an easy morning routine and not feel stressed and having to run out the door. I don't do this obviously every single day, but whenever I do prioritize getting up early, I love it. I love the peaceful time in the morning to spend with Journey, to have a coffee, read, just think about the day, and yeah, it's something that really grounds me. The next one on my list is that communication is essential to marriage. And this is definitely something that is said over and over again, and it's something that you know deep down, but it really is true that it's essential to a healthy marriage or any relationship, really. Just being able to communicate how you're feeling and communicate expectations to your partner really is so foundational to a healthy marriage, because when you keep things bottled up, resentment can build, and that is not a good place to be in. So yeah, for me, communicating cannot be that easy all of the time, as I'm sure that a lot of you can relate to, but whenever I do try to kind of push myself to communicate with Journey, it always means that our relationship is in a really healthy place. Next one on my list is manifesting the small things to achieve your bigger goals. And what I mean by that is kind of like manifesting small things in your day, like waking up and saying, today's going to be a good day, I'm going to get a lot done today, and I'm going to feel productive, and I'm going to succeed in what I do. Something like that. And just kind of like saying those things throughout the day in small ways, like saying no to stress, and saying, no, I'm not going to let this affect me. I'm going to work through this, and I've got this. Stuff like that over time builds a foundation for you to achieve your larger goals, kind of manifesting the day-to-day behaviors that in the long term would result in the success that I was looking for. The next one on my list is letting go of people or things that haven't grown with you and don't serve you in your life of where you are today is necessary for you to keep growing as the best version of yourself. It's pretty common for people to grow apart and for things to not, be part of your life like they were in the past, and that's okay. And I think that that's something that I've had to learn throughout the past, especially 5 years, that there's certain things, behaviors, and people that aren't in my life anymore, and that's okay, because I've grown to be a better version of myself, and those things and people don't fit into my life anymore. And that's something that can be hard, especially when it's with friendships or family that just don't connect anymore, and you grow apart, or things that you used to always do that aren't a part of your life anymore. I think it's really necessary to let those things go so that you can continue being the best version of yourself and growing, because those things will end up holding you back if you don't let them go. Number 10 is kindness is everything, and I really do mean that. Kindness and showing kindness in small ways to other people throughout your day really just helps you be a more positive person and comes back on you just feeling uplifted, and it's just a good behavior to practice, to think of how to be kind in all situations and to all people. It's something that can be obviously hard to do and isn't something that I do all the time, but I really think that kindness is really important to practice in your day-to-day life, and it can go a long way in making someone stay and helping you become a better person. Number 11 is about putting the work in on yourself. And for me, that relates back to actually going to therapy, making that commitment, a time commitment, a financial commitment, but it's something that is so important, and I'm so glad that I decided to make that commitment for myself. And it doesn't have to look like that for everyone, obviously, but just kind of valuing yourself and putting worth on yourself to outsource different tools, learn new things, and just putting the time in to work on yourself is so beneficial, because it not only helps you be a better person, but it helps the relationships you're in to be better as well. The next one on my list is about understanding your boundaries and communicating that to others in order to honor yourself and others. So it's always hard to communicate boundaries, obviously, but it kind of starts with just understanding what your boundaries are. Like, you might not realize how things affect you and stress you out because you haven't really looked at it as that's a violation of your boundaries in your personal life. So once you kind of like understand what your boundaries are, you can communicate those clearly to the people in your life as a way to honor them so that they know what your boundaries are, and also in a way to honor yourself because you're speaking up for yourself and putting those boundaries in place. And then that can be really a good tool to see when the boundaries have been violated, what you can do to kind of like move forward. But you have to verbalize the boundaries and put them in place. The next one on my list is about just kind of saying the words, I have all I need, and just practicing gratitude. That's something that is so important. Practicing gratitude is literally the key to feeling content every single day. Saying that you have all you need in this current moment really is the truth. And you can always strive to have more and be growing as a professional or in your personal life, but practicing gratitude, like in the moment right now where you are, is really important to long-term happiness. The next one I have is, comparison really does steal your joy. That's another one of those lines that you hear all the time, but when you actually think about it, comparing yourself to other people really does steal your own joy, and it just makes you feel miserable, and it's so pointless because it does nothing. It doesn't push you to grow, it doesn't do anything, it just makes you feel miserable inside. So that's something to be like conscious of. And again, that goes back to working on yourself through therapy and different things like that. It's just a good way to help notice the toxic traits that you might have, like jealousy or comparison, and it can help kind of put a finger on that and notice like what might be the deeper reason for that. Number 15 is look at everything as an experience to grow, whether good or bad. Try to just find one nugget of how you can grow from that and be a better person. That's something that I've used as a tool in my personal life whenever something came up that felt negative or didn't feel good or was a bad experience. It's just like, what's one thing that I can learn from this to be a better person? So this one on my list is about working smarter, not harder, and about planning rest into your schedule. I used to be so bad at this. I would be kind of the mindset of you have to just work yourself to the ground for success and to achieve your goals. And it was kind of like a mindset of, in order to be successful, you have to be feeling burnt out and stressed all the time, and that's just that. But really, that is so far from the truth. And working smart is kind of just about learning the tools to work in a more efficient way and be more organized and kind of streamline, whether that be your business or your professional life, like what you're working on at school and stuff like that. It's kind of just about looking at everything in a more holistic way and narrowing down and streamlining. And that's something that I've loved to learn how to do. There's a ton of amazing podcasts and books about this, about things like time blocking and, the 4-day work week and things like that. I think it's really amazing how we can train ourselves to work smarter and also plan and rest into our days so that we are not resenting our work and we're not resenting what we're doing currently, and we're still on the path to success. 17 is keep your inner circle close. For me, that's something that has been more in the past few years, and it's just important for me to keep my circle close so that I'm investing in the people who are important to me in my life. And I'd rather have a few close friends than a lot of friends who don't really know me. The next one is that gossip kills you slowly, and to level up in that area. That's something that I've really found important in my life, and gossip can be so toxic, or it is so toxic, and it really does make you feel terrible, and there's just absolutely nothing good in it. So just to kind of recognize that and to focus on yourself instead of other people, and recognize that when you're gossiping about somebody else, it's really a reflection of your own unhappiness and discomfort. So just to kind of be aware of that, and that's something that I've had to learn along the way, and especially the past few years, it's something that I've been more mindful of. And I found that when I have been more aware of cutting that out of my life, and whether that means cutting people out of my life life who try to drag me down in that way. It's really been a spin of good, and because you're like more healthier yourself. Next on my list is you have to find ways to reduce stress. That's something that my mom actually said to me throughout my whole life. When I was in elementary school and high school, I always was so stressed out about school, and I would just let my feelings of stress completely overwhelm me, and I didn't really know how to manage them. But going into my 20s, I was just so determined to find ways to deal with my stress. And there's so many ways out there that you have to look into what works for you, but I know that there's endless ways out there that can help people reduce stress. You just have to find what works for you, but you do have to put in the time and work to find the things that reduce stress, because stress is just a part of life, and it's always going to be something popping up here and there that causes you stress, so you have to have tools in your back pocket to help you deal with that. Number 20 is don't take yourself too seriously, and that's a kind of fun one that I've had to learn along the way. Just laugh at yourself when you make mistakes. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Life is way too short for that, and it just takes a lot of pressure off you when you don't take yourself too seriously and worry about what other people think of you, and worry that you're not in the right place in life or that you're not doing the right things. Just get rid of that pressure and don't take yourself too seriously. Next one on the list is to push into the things that scare you, whether that be learning a new skill, doing something different at work, exploring money and investing, or looking at your bank statements, whatever it may be. Just push yourself in the areas that kind of stress you out or scare you, because those can be a way to kind of like overcome something like a mental block, and once you do that, it can help you be more confident to tackle the next challenge. It's pretty much just always you don't know how to do something, and that's just scary, but once you learn how, it's all fine. The next one I put on my list is you are responsible for your own happiness. If you put that pressure on anyone other than yourself, you're going to be disappointed again and again. And when I actually realized that, it just something clicked in my brain that every day I can wake up and decide that I'm going to be positive, and I'm going to look on the bright side, and I'm going to, have this certain mindset and not rely on other people to take that away from me or expect them to make me feel happy. And it just kind of like makes you to take accountability for your own life and to take accountability of your own mindset. Next one on the list is about listening to and honoring your body, trusting that you know best and your body is trying to tell you something, and it's important to just listen and not worry about what other people are saying, and just to kind of focus on yourself and what your body is trying to tell you. Number 24 is celebrate everything in life. I grew up in a household where my mom celebrated literally anything that any of us did. Like, we could have gotten an A on a math quiz and she would make a special dinner, or it would be Valentine's Day and she would do like a big family dinner and get all of us a little present, or someone would have like something at work that went really well for them and she would celebrate that. So it really instilled in me the habit of celebrating everything, not just the big things in life, but the small things, and it really just adds that kind of spark of happiness and joy into your life, something to look forward to, and it keeps you also being grateful for those small things and thankful when something good happens. Just to celebrate that and recognize that is so fun and important to do. The last one I have on my list is that you could grow and change in such a short time. Like, I just can't believe how much Journey and I have changed in the past 5 years, and it's so encouraging to look back and see how much we've grown individually and as a couple, and it just makes me excited to think about the future and where I'll be when I'm like 30, and knowing that you're gonna change, and it's really, healthy to change in that time, and you should grow a lot in 5 years. You shouldn't be the same person that you were back then. Yeah, that's all that I have. Those were the 25 things that I put on my list, and yeah, it's just so cool to kind of reflect on your birthday about things that have happened the past year and to celebrate your life and how much that you have grown in your life as a person. Thank you so much for watching this video. I had so much fun making it and writing down these things on my list, and I hope to see you in my next video. Don't forget to like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys!